So if you have a wall that looks like this in one of your rooms and you really want to amp it up, we've been working with limitless walls. We measured this out. We're going to put up these two big panels, and essentially it's just like a custom printed wallpaper, and I'm really excited. Now, if you've done these peel and stick wallpapers before, it's going to work pretty much the same way. Now, these ones, they do feel like a heavier grade material, which is really nice. So I'm excited. This is going to be a big picture of the Blue Ridge Mountains, but they have tons of options. You can do custom ones, and it's printed in-house right in North Carolina. So it's not like you're waiting for it to come overseas. We're going to do this. We're going to install it. We're going to see what it looks like. Hopefully I measured right. We prepped the wall, and it should be good.
So what I like to do is I pull back some of the adhesive, just put it up on the wall, and then I want to make sure that the top is completely level, and then also the vertical is, I guess, plumb or just a straight line to make sure that these are going in straight. These are only 2 panels, and I've done ones that are multiple, like 4 or 5 panels, and if they're not straight, they're going to be crooked as you get further down. So this and marking the wall to know where those lines are is really, really helpful.
Now you can also use the laser levels if you have one of those to give you a full vertical laser to get it all lined up. But this one, luckily, as I laid it out along the molding up top and just using the corner of the wall, we're actually really good, almost perfectly level for that vertical line. So that's going to be good. And then what we're going to do is when we overlap this other one, we're just going to want to make sure that that one there is also perfectly aligned and not off a little bit. And then it should be really easy to do. So we're going to go ahead, scrape this, pull the tab, pull that backing off, and then flatten it out, and we should be attached to the wall. So because it is such a long and wide panel, I kind of just pushed it out and went behind it and just started pulling it down. Now, if these rip, you just want to make sure that there's no pieces left behind, because what will happen is it will not stick in those places and you'll have to go back and get that paper out. Now, when I applied it, I had a small spot here that was a crease. You can't even see it. I was able to lift it back off, stretch it, and then just clean it up. Now, I didn't go crazy with the crease to, make it really bad, but when it happened, I saw it immediately and pulled it back and was able to easily get that out. So that is really nice feature about this material. So right here, we're about the halfway point, going good. I'm gonna keep pulling it down. Yes, I did change my shirt. It's getting way too hot. But gonna keep going and then apply it. And we do have some outlets on the bottom. So what will happen is I'm gonna unscrew those. And then because it's a really soft material, you can pretty much feel where that outlet is. And you can kind of cut around it, do what you need to. Be very careful. You can turn off the power, but just cut around it and then you can put the plate right over it. Just take your time doing this. Make sure all those bubbles are out. And as long as you take your time and watch for everything as you go. I did have one of those paper issues where it was like a little piece was still stuck up here because the other one's ripped. So I just went back, pulled it off a little bit, and you'll see, because you'll just have everything stuck and then it doesn't stick right in the middle. So I went back, pulled it back, and was able to just peel it down, and we're all good to go. So here's what I talked about with the corner of the wall, not totally plumb, I guess. So if you're okay with that, that's good. You can always go in with X-Acto and cut that as you need, but otherwise this is working really, really well. I'm very happy with how this is coming out. All right, so I cut the outlet out and you can see what it's going to look like on top. Now, if you're really good, you would have to figure out what the outlet size is and then cut that print out and put it on here, kind of like that, but I'm not that good. So we're just gonna leave it like this. You can put a white one. If the white is no good, you can probably get black for this type of design or whatever works for you. And then I'm just gonna smooth the rest of this out. And then we're gonna go and put the other panel on. Now you'll see the amount of overlap. I think it's about between 1 and 2 inches. That seems pretty good. Lines up pretty nice. Good enough for government work right there. And like I said, if you don't want to see that seam, then you can go back and you can make that cut there, and then it'd be seamless, essentially, right? Virtually seamless. I have to say, I really like working with this material, because if you have any bubbles, even though I'm not done with this section, you can really easily just get it out. It does not really crease all that much as long as you're careful. Like some of the box store bought ones, which those are very like thin adhesive and they crease really easily. This is doing such a great job. So here is the finished project right behind me. Now I did leave that seam. If anything, if we want to cut it out, I'll have my wife do it. She's got a much steadier hand than I do. And I did do the sides here. Some of them came out okay. Probably could have did a little bit better trimming that up. But that's why I like to keep some of these pieces here, because if you need, you can trim it and put it behind it. But what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna frame it out with some of that little trim, just going down both of the sides. That way you don't see anything, looks nice and clean on that back wall. So you got just a one piece of white trim going up on both sides. Totally perfect. I love it. It was pretty easy to install. The only thing that slowed me down a little bit was the lining up of the second panel here. But once I had that, it was fine. Really easy to cut out around it. This material was way better than the ones that I've purchased like at the big box stores just to do those backdrops. And being that you could select like from thousands and thousands of stock photos for whatever you want or upload your own. It's printed in the USA, in North Carolina. It is awesome. I love it for my background here because this is my office, my video studio. So when I shoot stuff going this way, or even if I'm on a call for work, that will be in the background. So pretty cool than just having some paintings or just, you know, one single color. Now, what I will say, while I do love it here on that full wall, that will work for some, maybe in the future, if I wanted to do something else, maybe I wouldn't do a full wall. Maybe I would just do something half or maybe just wide and then frame it out. Totally up to you. You have tons of options. You can customize the size, the prints, whatever you want. They did a really great job printing this. This looks awesome. And yes, I'm gonna have to paint these walls to match a little better. And these walls are not even done behind me because again, we just framed it in. But overall, gonna love it. I hope our guests love it when they stay here. Little tranquil setting right behind them. So again, Limitless Walls, check them out. Get your own backdrop, make your rooms look amazing, just like mine does.